Never be friends with a guy who cannot get girls. This is one of the key factors you should be looking for when trying to make a new friend or adding a guy to your network is his ability to get girls. If he has no competency with girls at all and he is struggling in every single realm of dating, that is not a good friend or a guy that you want to have in your circle. I'm going to be breaking down the 5 key reasons why in this video. And the first one starts with the age-old saying of you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and this is so true. When I was growing up, around 18, 19 years old, my friend group and we did not pull any girls. It was a rare occasion for one of us to get a girl, and it was like a big deal. Every single one of us would be so hyped for whoever that person was if we got a girl. And we just struggled as a friend group overall. None of us had game. None of us knew what to do. None of us were tenacious in getting girls. Yet, there was another friend group who sometimes we would hang out with and smoke weed with. And that friend group, every single dude in that group had one or multiple girls. And we would always talk about this and we'd be like, how the fuck do they do this? They're not that different than us. They're not that much better looking. There was one dude who was jacked, like really jacked, and he was on steroids. But besides that, all the other dudes were pretty average. One dude, not to put him down, was kind of ugly if I'm being honest. And he, just like the rest of them, was killing the game with girls. And we were always just like, how the fuck do they do it? But that's the power of spending time with people who have the results in life that you want. So if you want to be better with girls, start hanging around dudes who have girls because their behaviors, their mindset, their mannerisms are going to rub off on you and you're going to become more like the person who can get girls. And the opposite is true as well. If you're spending time with dudes who are fearful, they can't talk to girls, they have a scarcity mindset, this is going to rub off on you as well. And I have a second story to prove this. I have been killing the game the last 3 or 4 years. With friends, by myself, doesn't matter. I make shit happen. I was with this dude at a festival about maybe 2 or 3 months ago. And the night before, we just pulled girls. We brought 2 girls back to his place. It was a fun night. And the next day, we were getting started drinking really, really early. Like, first thing he did was hand me a drink when we woke up. And I started drinking. And there was girls at this festival that we went to. And I was like, oh, let's go chat to them. And he was like, no, not yet. I'm not drunk. And I was like, what do you mean? Like, what's the issue? So what? Let's just go say hi. Like, why can't you go say hi? And he was like, no, I'm just going to sit here and chill and drink a little more. And then once I'm feeling it, I'm going to go. And even just that conversation brought me down. It was just like, instead of just being around a dude who was like, oh, bet, let's go right now. That sort of energy, it was bringing me down and it was making me not talk to that girl. Even if it was just a 5-minute delay before I was like, fuck this. And I went by myself. It's still just the overall energy that brings you down. So one of the key things that I'm always looking for is this dude, 1, does he have competency with girls? Or 2, is he willing to put himself out there and at least try and go and do these things and push his comfort zone? Because here's another thing. I have other guys who I was hanging out with this summer who, when they came around me and we would go to the club together, they would become a completely different person. 2 guys in particular, I went out with and we would chat to at least like 20, 30, 40 girls in a night. And by the end of the night, they were like, holy shit, Seb, I've never talked to this many girls. And they were like, I never would have done it if I wasn't with you. You brought out this version of me that I never even thought I could have been. And that's the power of it, really. I mean, now those guys, I still talk to them. I'm not in the same city with them anymore, but they're just like, I've been talking to all these girls since we started. It's just, it really changed my mindset. And that's the power of it. Like a one person, one guy who's about it, who has the right mindset, who is just going after it, he's good with girls, he shows you the ropes, can change everything for you. So it's so powerful to surround yourself with the right kind of people. And boys, for that reason, I made you guys a high value man guide, because if you want to be with the best guys and you want to be surrounded by absolute killers, you have to have some worthwhile character traits yourself. You can't come to them being a fat slob with no mental development, no charisma or charm. They're not going to want to be around you. So you at least have to be trying to be the best version of yourself. And for that reason, I built you guys a high value man guide, showing you how you can build your value across the board. This is really going to help you get your foot in the door with some high value dudes and befriend them. And also just, of course, get you more girls, because girls love high value guys. So that's completely for free. It's the first link in the description below. And the second reason is that If a guy is not good with girls, he is desperate for some pussy and he will guaranteed snake you for that pussy. So if you're having success with a girl, he'll go behind your back and start talking to her and try and get her. You know, that's the type of shit that guys who are desperate for girls will do. And it is just a bad trait to have. It makes you look like such a bitch if your own friend goes to the girl you were just talking to and he's trying to get with her. It just ruins your whole dynamic as a friend group. All the value that you could have potentially built up just gets brought down because she sees you as this dude who hangs out with low value dudes, and it makes you a low value dude. It's just like, you cannot have that in your circle. So it's one thing I'm very careful of. And, you know, it's just something where, like another guy I was hanging out with, we went and chatted to some girl. Gorgeous girl, and it was kind of my thing, right? Like, I was on the in, I was really chatting to her. He was there, he talked to the friend a little bit. Of course, he talked to her too, but it was kind of my thing, right? And I was like, yeah, bro, I'm gonna get with her. And he was like, no, I'm gonna get with her, kind of competing with me. And then at that moment, I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna be friends with this dude. Like, he was someone I just met and started hanging out with, but I was just like, fuck this dude. If he's gonna try and steal the girl that I just chatted to and I kind of just said I wanted, you're not my friend. If a dude I'm hanging out with is like, and we're talking in a group and he's like, I want that girl, I'm like, bro, go get her. I'm going to hype you up. I'm going to help you get that girl. Because that's how you become a powerful group. And if you have that scarcity mindset, if you're trying to take from your boys, man, you're just setting yourself up for failure. And the third reason is that they're just going to be dead weight and they're not an asset to your network. If someone is just dead weight, imagine trying to swim with a 45-pound plate tied to your waist. It's just going to bring you down. Why would you even think of doing that? Like, would you logically ever swim in the ocean with a 45-pound weight chained to your waist? No, you're like, okay, I'm going to drown and it's just going to be a bad situation and I'm probably going to die. You know, and it's obviously not that extreme, but it's the same idea. It's just dead weight. You do not want to have dead weight in your network. You want to have people who are only bringing you up and up and up. And there's exceptions, right? Like if someone has some really, really valuable like adds to your network for other things and they're trying to learn or you're helping them with that, of course, there's caveats. But for the most part, if you just have guys in your network who can't get girls, they're just going to be dead weight. I really want you to think of that analogy of swimming with a 45-pound plate because that's basically what it's like if you're bringing along dudes who cannot get girls. And the fourth reason might be hard to believe, but you are actually going to attract lower quality girls when you have friends who don't get girls. And on the contrary, you will attract higher quality girls when you're hanging around some G's. And let me kind of break this down. And this is mostly going to apply to a social setting. When you're out socializing, you are just going to happen to be in better environments with your friends talking to hotter girls, and things just kind of go your way when you're with guys who get girls. This is just kind of how it works. Whereas when you're the guy who's hanging around with guys who can't get girls, you know, they end up talking to some low value girls because that's all they think they can get. And it just kind of snowballs. So you will genuinely start getting much higher quality girls when you're with higher quality guys. It's just kind of how things work. I've noticed this in many, many different social settings. You really, really want to be around some high value dudes because it's just going to make things so much simpler for you. I promise. It's kind of hard to really like explain and work out how it happens, but it just kind of does. This is something I've noticed hanging around a lot of different people. I meet new people all the time. I can tell right off the bat if someone's good with girls or if they struggle with girls or what their mindset's like. And the dudes who are good with girls, they always end up, you know, we end up chatting to some girls and getting the baddies, and it's like when I'm with a dude who doesn't get girls, it's like we end up talking to some girls who are kind of mids, and I'm like, what the fuck is even going on here? And you know, it's happened so many times, and I swear it really holds true. And the last reason we've kind of already touched on, but I really believe this is the most powerful thing, which is their mindset will rub off on you. I say this all the time to people who I interact with in real life and on this channel, which is that mindset's one of the most important things that you have. The way that you internalize and perceive the world and have your mind match what's going on in reality is the most powerful thing that you can do. If your mind is serving you negative thoughts, limiting beliefs, if it's just holding you back and it's an enemy instead of a friend, that is one of the worst things that you can have. And that is what was reinforced when I had that friend group when I was younger, was those limiting beliefs, the negative thoughts. Oh, you can't get that girl. She's too hot for you. Like that sort of bullshit that brings you down. And that's the mindset that will kill you. That mindset's absolutely toxic and it's the worst thing that you could have. Whereas when you're around some G's, like me now, I'll type a guy up and I'll be like, you can get that girl. And he'll be like, no, I can't. I'm like, yes, the fuck you can. And the way that I speak to them and the way I speak about myself, and then I go and act on it and they just see how things work and it starts to bring them up as well. And they're like, holy shit, there's this whole new version of reality, which I didn't even realize was possible, all because of my mind was the biggest thing holding me back. It was my own mind sabotaging me instead of reality. So you want to really match what's going on in reality with what's in your head. And the sooner you can do that, the sooner you will have more success. And the easiest way to do it really is to surround yourself with people who already have that mindset, because they're just going to call you out on your bullshit. I remember when I was 18, hanging with that same friend group, also smoking with some older guys, my cousin and his friends. I once said one of my limiting beliefs and negative thoughts around them, where I was snapping this girl, she was leaving for college, it was 45 minutes away, and I said, fuck, well now why is she going to want to get with me? She's going to be 45 minutes away and at college, why is she going to want me? And for me, that was a normal thought at the time. And the dudes I was hanging around, those older guys, my cousin's friends, literally called me out and they're like, what the fuck you just say? I was like, what, you didn't hear me? He was like, no, I heard you. He's like, why the fuck would you say that? That's the most fucked up thing you could ever say. And I just sat there and thought about it and I was like, oh shit, like I see what I'm saying. He's like, why would you put yourself down like that? Now you're not going to have success because you don't even believe you can have success. And I was like, shit, you're fucking right. I was like, holy shit. It stuck in my mind because I was the one sabotaging my potential success. There was no reason I couldn't get that girl. 45 minutes. I've been with girls fucking hours and hours and hours away, cross countries, all different kinds of things. And I've met up with them all just because I believe I can. And it happens all the time. You know, you just have to believe that you can have that success. And the easiest way to get that belief and that mindset is through other guys who already have it. That's the cheat code. So once again, you really want to build your value if you can befriend those guys, get the girls. It's so important to become a high value guy yourself. For that reason, I made you guys that guide. It's completely for free. It's the first link in the description below.